We are recording.
Hi, welcome to the final session of the 2020 Forum of Excellence. It's been brought to you by ICCB, ICSPS, Southern Illinois Professional Development Center, SIPDC for some of you, and the Central Illinois Adult Education Service Center. So I just lost how we're going to do it this way. So today we are going to, this session is building and using partnerships to enhance success for ESL students and ICAPS Model 2. So the presenter is, I forgot that on that screen, sorry, Abraham Salio, and he's from Universidad Popular, correct?
Yes.
Abraham? Okay. Suddenly I had a blank minute and I was like, oh, wrong place. I am Angela Gerberding, and I will be your moderator today, and Todd Jorns will be doing all of our technical support. So we will go ahead and get started. I'm going to stop sharing my screen, and Abraham is going to take over sharing.
Okay, so
You're good.
screen's coming good. All right, welcome everyone. Once again, my name is Abraham Salio, and this is building and using partnerships to enhance success for ESL students and ICAPS Model 2. Just a little bit about my organization, and I wanted to actually use this emoji virtual classroom slide that I created for all of you. Just in light with all the distance learning that's happening across the board. You know, I have a daughter in first grade, and this is the way she's learning. So in light of that, I figured, hey, let's follow this trend. And it's a really nifty way that we've also been trying to incorporate within our ESL classes to be able to create, you know, this virtual online experience that is fairly new for a lot of people. So as far as myself, after returning to Chicago from California Central Valley, I was out studying computer engineering at the University of the Pacific in 2003. I started working here at Universidad Popular as an adult education facilitator. This opportunity allowed me to connect with residents in my community of the Lower West Side of Chicago and the South and South Lawndale, also known as Pilsen and Little Village, which are very large, dense Latino communities here in Chicago. In essence, our organization, Universidad Popular, works on giving a voice to those who are traditionally, economically, and socially voiceless by developing English literacy, computer literacy, health literacy, and family literacy programs for children, youth, adults, and families. Our program encourages community members to take a participatory approach to their educational needs by incorporating a popular education and asset-based community development models to all possible innovative programming and delivery services here at UP. Since its introduction in Chicago in the early 1970s, Universidad Popular has become known as a place where community residents can come to learn with, by, and from one another. UP is built on the philosophy that the philosophy of Paulo Freire's pedagogy of popular education, and together, community residents, including myself, help participants reach community empowerment through participatory learning. This slide was meant to be able to click and expand on the pictures, but I do apologize for that. They are very small, but there are some pictures that I framed up on the back. Continuing on with our presentation, Universidad Popular, our current developments with ESL and ICAPS Model 2. As an organization and agency, we serve over 300 participants annually in our adult education program, which includes ESL and the current development of ICAPS Models 2 program within the following career pathways of hospitality and tourism, for food service managers, human services, for community health workers, business management and administration for small business owners, and education and training for those that are interested in vocational education. Our current partnerships, and not limited to just this slide, but a few of the organizations, many organizations that contribute to one aspect of our adult education program include public institutions, universities, colleges, other community organizations within the neighborhood, public officials, the alderman's office, city departments. These are all different types of partnerships that we've worked on and built over years to be able to enhance uh, the learning experience for most of our participants, and to be able to have a program that's unique, a program that where we're not working by ourselves with our participants, but we also have a network to be able to provide them with additional services that might be needed, or to be able to engage in our program's growth, evaluation models, research, community research, health research, you name it. We're actually taking on each and every program from every single angle. And these institutions and organizations are amazing partners working towards community empowerment. Today, I will be talking about how we continue to develop these partnerships from the ground up, beginning with the ESL students, and also most importantly, the interests of our ESL students and community assets. So the dilemma in many communities is that people and communities have deficiencies and needs. But at the same time, individuals and communities have assets and capacities. So we think about it as this, this idea of whether the cup is half empty or half full. These dilemmas that we see sometimes outweigh the positive, especially through the media. Sometimes, if you even Google search La Villita, Little Village, a lot of the searches that tend to come up at first are negative news that typically don't show the strengths of the community. So in that sense, with this dilemma, our vision is to use asset mapping as an approach to be able to transform what we see here as community in the left-hand side, the neighborhood community needs map. You have gangs, you have violence, you have different vacant houses, crime, mental illnesses. There's a lot of things that are barriers to the quality of life in our community. So what we tend to do is take a look at and transform that needs map into an asset map, where we have individuals who contribute their personal capacities. We have individual businesses, religious organizations, higher education institutions, public schools. So really seeing the strengths of the neighborhood and the strengths of a community. The purpose of using asset-based community development is to identify the strengths of communities, beginning with the individual capacities and then moving through the community to identify other capacities, such as those from local businesses, institutions, and visualize a community with rich resources capable of enhancing experiences and positive community development while addressing learners' needs and taking a holistic approach to providing wraparound services to deconstruct these barriers, the previous barriers and challenges that we see on the left-hand side of the needs map. So really taking a different lens while developing these partnerships and enhancing our programs so that the learning experience for our participants is second to none, very rich. Where our organization is not the end all. You'll be with us for 3 years and then you'll continue on your path. But during those 3 years, you'll learn about different organizations that provide additional services that might be beneficial to you, that might be able to help with transition support into post-secondary or even workforce development. So then today I want to talk about 6 community assets that are very important, beginning with individuals. And the individuals, they provide a gift that I can give to my community. And many of you might have heard of this called Head, Hands, and Heart, where the gift of hands is things that I know about and that I enjoy talking about with others. For example, art, computer repair, movies, even in many cases, business. The gift of hands, things or skills that I know how to do that I would like to share. For example, carpentry, trade skills, electricians, construction workers, gardeners, cooks. So those are trades, gifts of trades. And then the gift of the heart, things that we deeply care about, for example, the protection of the environment, civic engagement, social justice, being involved in community meetings, and we see the individuals as an asset that is very important when we're building partnerships, because we want these partnerships to grow with our participants, not just to grow with our organization. In addition to the individual assets, we also have associations. And these associations are typically groups of 2 or more residents or community leaders joined together around a common activity or interest, often sharing a common passion, a care. And these associations could be examples such as community advisory support groups, health advisory groups from local hospitals, family support groups, neighborhood improvement groups, coalitions, social cause and advocacy issue groups. We have quite a number of organizations here in Little Village that are working across the boards through collaborations. And then we have institutions as well that are part of this community asset mapping that we have to start to identify in a way that schools, libraries, parks, even law enforcement, colleges, universities, all play a role in the learning experience or that trajectory, that long-term path for our participants and our students. In many cases, institutions, the way that we've used institutions tend to roll into that next community asset of physical space. Our public schools are offering us space to be able to have ESL classes in the morning and the evening. There's ESL classes at our parks. There's ESL classes at our local libraries. Even the police district in the south side of Chicago, District 8, has a community room, and Universidad Popular has used that community room to be able to provide ESL classes in that space in the past as well. And then other institutions also include nonprofits, private businesses. And one thing that I forgot to include here is also important for program sustainability and to enhance this type of work are foundations. Foundations are also important to be able to identify as community assets. The physical space, like I mentioned, recognizing the spaces that are available to be able to build programming, be able to use it for programming, having spaces that are accessible for everyone, and then public spaces where people usually gather as well. Moving on to the exchange really is important because it'll help us identify other partners' needs, shares, and contributions. So not just the needs, but their shares and their contributions. These exchanges among people in the neighborhood include giving, sharing, trading, bartering, exchanging, buying and selling, time banking, even babysitting co-ops. For example, right now, with the exchange that's happening around this public health emergency, all our organizations are working to figure out how we can host kids who don't have access to internet at home yet within this first month, so that we can get families to be able to get the internet services that they need so that kids can connect to their virtual programming. So the exchange really, it's not just about what benefits or mutual exchanges there are, but really addressing, feasibility, addressing, cost, having very important conversations in partnership development that we're not just here to take advantage of your expertise, but let's grow together. Let's exchange knowledge. Let's exchange interests. Let's figure out where our missions and our visions align so that we can grow together and we can actually enhance our programming and enhance our community. And then last but not least, we have the culture, stories, and histories, where an asset is really, learning from one another, building cultural competencies, looking for digital storytelling, learning about the history of a community. These are great assets